Today on the Darth Mills, we're going to share with you guys an open box of the XTech Count Dooku Lightsaber. Check it out and let's get into it. All these sabers come in this black magnetic type box. You just lift this up to get it open. There's some type of, again, magnetic strip on both sides so it will close and kind of stay. Got our directions. You'll have some tools. You have a charging cord and your blade plug. Neopixel blade. Your saber itself will come wrapped in plastic, which I already unwrapped, so it will come in two pieces. This is the XTech Count Dooku, which usually retails for about $400. It comes with the Profi 2.2 and about 27 sound fonts. A close-up of that open box, the lower end of the hilt, the blade, that Profi board, the upper hilt, your instructions, the tools, the blade plug, and your charging cord. We're definitely going to get into how you set up the saber with some of the breakdown of taking it apart and putting it back together. Give you guys a demo on that. So I'm going to take all the other components and put them off to the side. When you get your saber, it's going to come in this plastic. You just unwrap this. You just take the plastic off. And as you can see, here's your lower part of the hilt. Very nice. And you can see this is the upper part of the hilt. This is from XTech, usually about the $400 range. Comes with about 27 sound fonts. This is a Profi board that has an SD card, which you can edit sound fonts if you know how to. This saber has a kill switch. For the saber to turn on, you have to hit the kill switch.
I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
This saber has a power button and an aux button. The power button will turn the saber on. The aux button will have you do a flash on clash or a blaster block, and the aux button will also change your sound fonts, meaning your characters. So we'll turn the Luke saber on. You can see the LED emitter lights, the smooth swing. Here is your clash on flash or your blaster block. And to change the sound fonts, again, you hit the second button.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan.
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin.
You are under arrest, my lord.
Mace Windu.
I don't. I what? Tarandalikos.
Darth Vader. Actually, you get a quote from Vader. If you hold it down while it's ignited for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
You do have a great many things to explain.
If the saber is off and you hold for 3 seconds, you will get music. 1, 2, 3. Darth Vader. And you can ignite the saber while the music's on. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. And of course, this has gesture control where you can turn the saber to activate it. Many times you can push this battery with your finger and take it out to charge it with this particular charging cord. But in this case, you can't. So you have to take your smaller L wrench and loosen this up and pull your core out a little more to pop the battery out. So you take the smaller L wrench, line it up here, unscrew. You can pull this down a little bit, and then you can then pop out your battery. You can try to push through here or take a small tool and pop out your battery.
I'm a Jedi.
As such. When you put this in, you always have to make sure that the plus side is at the top of the hilt towards the electronics and not the negative. You can short out this saber, so you have to be careful not to put the battery in the wrong way. After your battery is charged, which could take 4 to 8 hours depending, for a full charge, you just put it back in.
I'm a Jedi.
You have your kill switch off, you could turn it on.
I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
So you have 2 buttons on this core that ignite your saber that line up with these 2 buttons. So when you put it back in, you have to make sure that your buttons are lined up correctly. Otherwise, your saber will not activate. You have to make sure that those buttons inside are lined up with these, or your saber will not activate. So that's lined up pretty good. Then you just re-tighten down this screw. Not too tight, but you definitely want it to be solid so this core won't move. Then you can test it and see that didn't work. I did not push it back far enough. So I have to undo it, which is no worries, just takes an extra second. And after you get it lined up, you just tighten it back down. Again, not too tight, but make sure your core doesn't move. And you can always test it. So on the second half of your saber, you have a screw hole and another screw hole. These will have to come in here like this and line up. You can see the hole line up there and the hole line up there. Then you have to get your screws and screw these down. So you have to take your larger size tool, and for the back is going to be this shorter, stubbier screw. You take that one and put it in here like this. Again, snug but not too tight. And then you have a couple different sizes of these screws. And you want to take the second to largest screw, I believe works the best. And you're going to drop that in here. And tighten that down. And there you go. That's a nice looking saber right there. Looks pretty sweet. So for looks, you also have a blade plug, and you have what you would call retention screws. So this is what you have to use. Again, your smaller wrench or tool or L wrench, and you have to screw down one of these screws, which I'm going to pull out, into the hilt to lock in either your blade plug or your Neopixel blade itself. So I applied the retention screw. So if you want to put this blade plug in here now, you kind of leave it part way out. You tighten it down. And now you have a blade plug in there that just looks like it's part of the saber, which looks very cool. So there's actually 2 retention screws. You have to be careful not to scratch your saber with the tool, and you want to be somewhere where you can catch and find these screws, not in the middle of your carpet, so you can lose these screws. So find a nice placemat type area, table, where these screws won't be bouncing around. So next up, you get your blade. You have your Neopixel pins in here, and you have the bottom of your Neopixel blade there, and they have to touch. So your pins have to touch the bottom of your blade. So you have to apply some pressure. A lot of times people will stand the saber up so the weight is laying on top of the hilt. You can apply slight pressure as well. Then tighten down your screw. Profi is some of the best electronics you can find.
I don't fear you, Jedi. I wasn't planning on killing you, but you're very tempting. Talamalikos. Hello.
So again, I'm changing the sound font with the lower button, the aux button. Darth Vader.
Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis. And then I'm hitting the aux button again. And if I hold the power button down, I'll get a quote for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
Cal Kestis.
If I hold the button down again for 3 seconds, I'll get the music. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There's many different songs depending on the character.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force.
The one we've been waiting for, Count Dooku. You can see it has that smooth swing. Here it is with the lights down.
Let me give you peace. The dark side I sense in you.
Yoda. So when you are done with the saber, you do have to take the blade out, undo your retention screws, like so. The blade will just come out. And then you're going to have to take this back apart whenever you're done playing with it if you want to kill the kill switch. You can leave this on, it'll last you a few days, but normally it's just not recommended to do so. So unfortunately, you do have to take this piece off, hit the kill switch to turn it on and off. So just like we did before, you undo this screw, undo this screw, she'll come off, then you can hit the kill switch. And again, if you have to get the battery out, you do have to use your smaller tool, pull this down a little bit and disengage the battery. The XTech Dooku is an amazing display piece. She looks great. That nameplate. These will always have very minor defects / imperfections. Alright, definitely hope you guys enjoyed this how-to video demo of the Count Dooku XTech lightsaber. Shared with you guys the open box, all the content you get, some of the functions, some assembly and disassembly, and just to help you be more familiar with this lightsaber. Don't forget to check out all our other videos. Please subscribe. See you next time. Peace from the Darth Mells.